All right, welcome We the Kingdom to the Mornings with Rebecca and Burns after show. Sitting in for Rebecca today is the best producer in the world, Jay Allen. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Now, so we got to get to know you guys. Ed, I know you're the leader, you're the starter, you're the one that's been the songwriter and been around this business forever. How are you inspired to start this band? Were you like watching The Sound of Music a few years ago and said, you know what, I could do a family band?
Exactly. Had them come all in and do the whistle and all that stuff. No, it's interesting. We've talked a lot about this. I think that the development of this has really been in stages. I think originally, just organically, we're sitting here in a studio right now that I've been making music in for 20-something years. And so Martin is my son, Franny's my daughter, Andrew's a great friend who was an intern for us, and Scott's my brother. So we've been around music, making music together. Franny sang on Carrie Job song I don't know, over probably a decade ago, right?
I was 10.
Yeah, she was 10 years old. So yeah, it's been just a very natural part of our family life. And I think, the decision to actually start a band together was sort of multifold, really though, I think the catalyst was that we walked through a really hard season together as a family. I think out of that, God was just showing us that singing to him was going to be the thing that was going to help us to heal. And so we just started writing songs. We actually went down to a Young Life camp, and we were just, something we used to and still do a lot, just to go kind of get out of the professional world, if you will, and just go be with kids, pour into their lives. I've done that for decades and love it. We wrote this song in a hot tub one night for these kids from Miami to just tell them how much the Father loves them. And that song, I think, ignited something in our hearts. The song's called Dancing on the Waves. It's the first song that we ever wrote as a band. And that really, it was shortly after that we came back home, and Andrew had a similar vision, about starting a worship band. He even had a Facebook page called We the Kingdom, almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
For real. And so just the way that God kind of orchestrated the whole thing.
You should talk about that scripture verse.
The really cool thing is, man, so I hadn't done many posts on the We the Kingdom Facebook page because, I was trying to start it, but it wasn't getting wings. So, but the post, I think the first post I ever did was 2 Corinthians, is it maybe 2:13? I probably, the reference might be wrong, but where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
And it was February 2019.
And it was February, and it was around that time that Ed had this idea for a song called Free at Last, and I think we had just finished it, and we were going back and kind of getting our social media in order, and I was like, what in the world? We just wrote this song about where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom, and there it was, the first post. And it was just a cool moment of just seeing the landmarks where God's hey, yeah, this is what I had planned all along. And for me, it was very disappointing for a while, because I was I tried to start this band and nothing happened. So for me, it felt like disappointment. And so maybe for encouragement for people out there that feel like they're in a season of disappointment, God brings dreams back to life. He really does, in beautiful ways.
We're just getting to know the band We the Kingdom, and sad part is we don't have all day to talk, but these guys are phenomenal. Ed, you've been writing songs along with Chris Tomlin and several others for you. What are some songs that you've co-written with Chris? Just real quickly, so people get an idea of where you've been behind the scenes.
You know what? I'm going to resist the whatever it is. I don't like talking about that stuff because,
okay.
But I do want to give God honor and praise for what he's done, especially when I think about my life and my story and what he's brought me through. So How Great Is Our God was the first song that Chris and I ever wrote together. And that just opened the door, I guess, to a myriad of them, that over the years we got to write together. God of Angel Armies. There have been a lot of them. So we're just super grateful for that relationship with him. That brother has been a kind, dear friend, and has taught me more about worshiping God than nearly anybody. So I'm very thankful for that relationship.
Martin, I know a lot of times we don't get to hear you sing, but watching you play the drums on stage, phenomenal. You have more energy. I don't see how you do it. One, I guess because you're so young, but I got to see you guys in Red Rocks, and I don't remember how many songs you did that night, but I know I was sitting there thinking, if that guy did that for an entire concert, I would throw an arm out and be hurting for weeks.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. It definitely.
And it was kind of cool to watch all of you. Andrew is so multi-talented. It got to be a little bit of a game from the people out in the audience was trying to pick out where he went on stage that night for the next song.
Love it.
Because you go from like keyboards to percussion. What else do you do?
When I was growing up, I was trying to produce and make music, and there wasn't many other people around me that played, so I try to pick up as many instruments as I can. It's just, yeah.
Andrew's uber talented.
Yeah.
He's an incredible producer, songwriter, all that stuff.
And he
so.
can like build. He built his studio. Like he builds and fixes everything. It's amazing. He can do like anything. You know those people that are like you know when people are like, you can do whatever, and you can do whatever you say your heart to do. I'm like, well, I can't play in the NFL. Like that's just like, but Andrew can do
can play in the
anything
NFL.
that he set his mind to do. Like we could.
Man, I could believe that because I was, I met you guys and then I saw you in concert and I'm like going, that guy can do anything. It's, it's like a one-man band and a bunch of singers, but you guys pulled it together and simply amazing. Franny, just watching you on stage, it's obvious that you love the music. And I remember when you guys very first came out and sang Holy Water, Ed starts out singing, and then I guess you take the second verse. And it was fun to watch the reaction of the people in the crowd because it's like, who is this? Who is this young lady? She's phenomenal. So
Thank you. That's so kind. Thanks.
and I hear you have some pretty good personal news that you can share that's happened to you recently.
I got married.
Yeah.
Woo! We've been married for almost a month now, which is crazy, but it is actually so much better than people said it was going to be. Maybe because we're still just in the first month, but we're best friends, and he's literally the coolest person I've ever met. So it has been so fun. I mean, he's awesome, and so great to come home to him every night and like be married. It's awesome. So love it.
Well, very sweet. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
So Jay, anything you want to ask the band?
So we talked about Holy Water, and that's your #1 song right now, and I love Holy Water. In a song about forgiveness, usually you would see songs kind of err on the more sad side because it's about forgiveness. But I love how joyful you guys come across in your song making, and I love, for one, that it's spanning, like I feel like this song could have been released in the 70s and still would have been just as popular. I really do love that. Like,
Thank you. That's the best
That's the
compliment
greatest.
we've ever got.
Well, I love that because it's so joyful. And so is there a specific type of experience or, scripture that just kind of pushed y'all to kind of go against the grain? Because this doesn't sound like typical Christian music. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, but this just sounds really, really joyful beyond measure. Is there anything that like influences that when you're writing?
Well, it was kind of an accident when we wrote it. Like, and that's the cool thing. Like Andrew said something. What did you say the other day about like songs? Like sometimes songs feel like uncovering, like an archaeologist uncovering dinosaur bones rather than like coming up with something unique on your own. Andrew said that. So quote him. But
Kind of like the Michelangelo thing,
yeah, like you
how'd you carve the
receive
David?
songs.
Oh, I just carved away everything that wasn't David.
Yeah, so sometimes songs don't necessarily like when we write, it's never, I don't think we've ever sat down and been like, here's a verse, let's write a song about this verse. It's more like we'll just kind of follow the inspiration in the room, and whatever comes, and it feels like what came was already there. I know that sounds really weird, but it's like it feels like we received the gifts from God that are the songs, and they like he wrote them or something. Like it feels like that. And Holy Water was an accident. We were working on another song, we were procrastinating about it, and Martin was over there on the piano right over here. So right behind you is the control room where we like do songs, and then over there to my right, your left is the piano. And so Martin was sitting at the piano and playing the chords to what became Holy Water with that flat 7 kind of like rock and roll sound, whatever. And we like looked over like, what? Like that is so cool. We love that. We went over and started singing, just randomly sang out like the lyrics. Like it wasn't at all like planned. It just came out like, and that just shows that it's not like conjured, which is or contrived. So
we've never done this before, but I kind of want to do this real quick.
Okay.
So this is the voice memo, the original voice memo for Holy Water. Keep listening. You're here.
Let's do it. The same chorus. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
You know,
Well, it was originally a piano song.
it's
yeah.
a lot
Which is,
slower.
yeah, more like that. I think Andrew had the idea to just kind of
Turn it into the hard drive and
Read it
I was,
start.
like, I was like, guys, I want to run around on stage. Give me something to do.
I got to tell you, first time I heard that song, my favorite part of the song is when you're going from the bridge back to the Your Forgiveness, and Martin just
Yes.
I'm like, I felt the drum beat. I was like fourth, fifth row, and I felt the drum beat. I was like,
I love it.
That's good.
that's a special song right there, and obviously everyone else in America agreed as well.
Mm.
Well, guys, I know you're pressed for time. I know you guys, your album is releasing, and you're excited about that. And I appreciate you taking the time to see us and do the video conferencing, Zooming with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.